Retribution, written and read by Coutanche. One cacophonous burst of laughter from the rear of the pub, and I'm instantly transported back to that summer. A 16-year-old grunting zip machine on the threshold of adulthood and daydreaming of the curvaceous body of luscious Lucy Walters. 2 months together and every promise of getting my leg over. First, one more exam, ironically biology, and on a blazing June evening I'm endeavouring to cram in some last-minute revision. A task made tougher with a fully loaded Polaris missile in my trouser pocket. My mind shifts to the following morning. Some half-witted teacher at a distant school opened an exam pack a few days ago, and despite his insistence that no candidate saw the paper, the exam's been postponed for 6 days. This pales into insignificance when I learn that the item made the local news, and everyone except me took advantage of the sunshine. Searching out an elusive Ben Dixon, I need to find out why he didn't tell me. His evasive attitude leaves me suspicious, but in my wildest dreams I fail to suspect what I later found out, that Randy Sod had taken the opportunity to beat me to it with Lucy. Whilst I'd studied the human body on paper, my best pal and girlfriend were conducting a full-scale practical. I vividly recall his raucous laugh and nonsensical response when I quizzed him about the postponement. Well, if you'd asked me, I'd have told you, wouldn't I? When I extracted the truth from a shamefaced Lucy, I recall the well-exchanged blows between me and Ben and the cessation of a friendship that stretched back to primary school. I've not seen him since, as he failed most of his exams and signed up with the Merchant Navy, whilst I struggled through 2 further years to achieve 3 mediocre A-level passes and a career of drudgery in the bank that likes to say no. Back to the present. It couldn't be. Glancing behind and there, chatting up a frothy redhead, is Ben. Less hair, bulkier, but even after 20 years, there's no doubt. The hyena has returned to his lair. It's a bit of a coincidence, as I only pop into the Frog and Toadstool on my way home from the bank on a Friday evening, just half an hour or so. A couple of swift halves and a catch-up with the regulars before heading home to the bosom of my adoring family. I'm contemplating whether to make an early exit when he spots me. "Rob, it is you old codger. Wow, it's been a while. How are you, mate?" In the early hours of Saturday, I crawl home, head like a tumble dryer, having deposited intermingled curry, chips and ale at regular intervals. I make out the words on the note taped to the fridge door. Your tea is in the dog. You are in the doghouse. I'm awake by 10 a.m. Mark, my 9-year-old, is jumping on me, and his 6-year-old sister Melissa is yelling into my ear. To make things worse, Bruce has diarrhea after his unconventional supper, and my wife Carly has found my right shoe on the driveway with no sign of its partner. By afternoon, I've recovered sufficiently to take Bruce for a walk in order to collect the car from the pub and locate my missing shoe. Ahead, an elderly woman is complaining to her neighbour about the behaviour of today's younger generation as she scrapes my unwanted gift from the pavement. I decide against claiming the discoloured shoe in the midst of the mound. Something's frantically trying to bore into my aching brain. It won't come, and I give up and drive home. Hopefully a refreshing bath will help me feel better and enable me to recall whatever it is I'm supposed to remember. I leap from the bath. I've remembered. In my drunken stupor, I invited Ben and his Swedish wife for dinner. I think it was at 8. He was in as bad a state as me and has probably forgotten. If not, then surely he won't remember my address. With perfect timing, the doorbell rings. Move over, Bruce. It's doghouse time again. Just past midnight, and I'm in bed waiting for Carly to finish the dishes. Could have been worse. I'll bet that Ben and Ingrid haven't been to a dinner party where the hostess answers the door sporting a tracksuit and Minnie Mouse slippers. And they wouldn't have been treated to fish fingers and chips with sliced banana and raspberry ripple ice cream to follow. We do the shopping on a Sunday morning, and our freezer tends to be as empty as a eunuch's underpants come Saturday evening. Carly gave me a look that would have defrosted an ice cube when I found the courage to venture downstairs. Still, the night was a success, and Ben and Ingrid loved the kids. He was like a long-lost uncle, and even told them a bedtime story, something I haven't done in ages. He also seems to have completely forgotten about our set to all those years ago. Either that, or he feels that it's better to leave sleeping dogs lie and not mention it. Best till last, Ingrid is drop dead gorgeous. Ben struck the jackpot with her. She's late 20s, tall and slim, with textbook Swedish features, long blonde hair, come to the sauna, blue eyes, bumpers like melons. Her family are into pharmaceuticals. They're loaded and are on a 6-month working holiday, having rented one of the biggest flats in town. Here I am, struggling to keep a roof over our heads, and there's Ben with a gorgeous wife and oodles of dosh. 10 minutes later, I hear Carly curse as she storms upstairs, and I take the coward's way out, feigning sleep. By midweek, normality has returned, and Carly actually managed a quick peck on my cheek as I left for work. The phone rings, and it's a clerk telling me a Mr. Dixon is on line 1. I haven't spoken to the prodigal son since last weekend, and he sounds nervous. Hi, Rob. I was wondering if you fancy a beer tonight. I've got a little proposal for you. 20 minutes to last orders, and all we've discussed is football, the whereabouts of some old mates, and how the town has changed. He seems nervous, but if he's got something to say, he'll do so in his own time. With actions bordering on the theatrical, he shepherds me into a quiet corner, and I notice the sweat on his forehead. There's something I need to discuss with you, Rob. I need your help, or me and Ingrid, but you've got to promise you won't tell anyone, not even Carly. Okay, I promise that whatever you're going to say won't go any further. Honest. He takes a deep breath. Well, it's like this. We've been married for 4 years and trying to start a family for ages, but nothing's happened. So we went to see the specialist, and it turns out that Ingrid's fine, but there's something wrong with the old John Thomas, and I'm permanently firing blanks. Wow, Ben, I'm like Dick the donkey, but it doesn't work. I managed to conceal a smirk. Christ, mate, I am sorry. Can anything be done? They can do some marvellous things these days. No, I've had every test under the sun. Money's no object with Ingrid, but there's no way I'm going to father any kids. I've got more chance of becoming Pope, and I'm not even a Catholic. There's an embarrassing silence, and we empty our glasses. Getting up to buy another round gives me a chance to think, and for Ben to recover his composure. Returning, I break the silence. Sorry, mate, but I don't see where I come in. What do you want me to do? He's even more nervous. We thought about adoption, but you never know the full background. Then we considered a sperm bank, but that's worse. God knows what we could be bringing into the world. So how can I help? You're a decent guy. You've got 2 great kids, and Ingrid and I have been talking about nothing else since we saw you. What do you say? It takes a few seconds to take in what he's proposing. Am I totally on the wrong track? Perhaps not, but I'd better tread carefully. You mean you want me to father a child for you? He nods. Yep. We've considered endless possibilities. I can't think of a better choice. I've known you since you were 5, and Ingrid likes you. Will you do it? Christ, this is a bit of a shock. I don't know. How would it work? Well, we want to keep it informal. You and Ingrid have regular sessions, and by the time we go back to Sweden, she should be pregnant. You sign an authority waiving any rights and confirming you never tell anyone, and we give confirmation that we won't ask for maintenance. And to cover your time, we'll pay you £200 for each session. How's that sound? This needs careful consideration. On the plus side, there's a chance to have regular action with one of the most gorgeous women I've ever clapped eyes on, with the bonus of getting paid. On the minus side, there's, well, apart from ensuring I don't get caught by Carly, what is there? All right, I'll do it. Sunday evening, when I'm outside Ben and Ingrid's flat. What am I doing here? What if the wife finds out? What if I strip off and my mate's hiding in the bedroom? I pull myself together. Carly thinks I'm playing squash with Ben. I've told her to make sure that Ingrid doesn't wear perfume and that I need to shower before I leave. I've also got a bottle of water with a spray top I'll use to dampen the t-shirt and shorts in my sports bag. As long as I'm ultra careful, Carly won't suspect anything. I step forward and ring the doorbell. 3 hours later, I'm home. Carly's asleep and my groin is aching. Closing my eyes, I recall the evening. Ingrid answered the door looking radiant in a short black dress, her slim legs covered by what turned out to be stockings. 1 minute we were sitting on the sofa, the next she was on top of me, playing tonsil hockey. Any concern that this was going to be an unpleasant chore went straight out of the window. She practically ripped my shirt off, and my trousers followed. Unzipping her dress, her eager tongue explored my chest, my stomach, and slipped lower. Ingrid, you can't get pregnant by doing that. Ingrid, I said you can't. Hey, Ingrid, no. Oh, yes. Then we did the business. 3 times in 2 hours. To cap it all, she made me coffee and slipped an envelope containing £200 in my pocket. I can't wait for the next session. Well, I'd better leave it a few days. 6 months on, and I've given Ben and Ingrid a lift to the airport to catch their flights back to Sweden. It's the least I can do. 15 well-spaced sessions and nothing. It seems they either try a different donor or adopt. Shaking Ben's hands, I kiss Ingrid as they enter the departure lounge. Well, back to normality. Never mind. It was special whilst it lasted, and I'm £3,000 better off, which will come in handy for that holiday of a lifetime in Disneyland. I'll have no problem explaining it away as a bigger than usual annual bonus as I deal with all of the household finances. It's a shame Ingrid didn't get pregnant, but not a surprise. If Ben had asked me about the vasectomy I had after Melissa was born, I'd have told him, wouldn't I? But he didn't ask, and I wasn't going to volunteer. All square, and revenge tastes incredibly sweet.